A Hall County 5-year-old died weighing only 7 pounds, and her parents are now charged with murder. Their attorney tells us it was a medical condition, not neglect, that led to the girl's death.
But records show the family was investigated by Child Services twice before. Joe Hinkie has the latest.
Anything you did say could be used against you later.
On Wednesday, Jerrail and Porscha Mickens made their first court appearance on charges of felony murder and first-degree child cruelty for the death of their 5-year-old daughter, Kylie. When she died in June, she weighed 7 pounds, a weight, according to the World Health Organization, of some newborn girls. The parents' attorney, Corinne Mull, told 11 Alive today doctors did not expect the girl to live past age 3 because of a rare disorder.
So they kept her alive 2 years longer than her expected lifespan.
According to the sheriff's office, an autopsy report detailed the girl's death a result of dehydration and malnutrition due to medical neglect, with the death being listed as a homicide. But the Mickens attorney says the 5-year-old suffered from 1p36 deletion syndrome, a chromosome disorder with several possible complications, including swallowing difficulties, according to the National Institute of Health.
She has a hard time eating. Everything's got to be liquefied into an oatmeal-like consistency, has a hard time swallowing water that has to be put in the food.
Mull says there are no reports of neglect at the Mickens home involving their 2 other children, a point supported in this investigative report from the Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services. It does mention, though, there are 2 previous cases on the family from 2016 regarding the same allegations of neglect and maltreatment, and one of the parents not having, quote, the necessary emotional, behavioral, or cognitive protective capacities to provide for the child's basic needs, while being emotionally detached and appeared not concerned.
DFACS is wrong as usual. This comes from the fact that allegedly she didn't cry. She did cry, but everybody grieves differently, and some people don't grieve in public. They don't wail and scream.
And the Mickens are being held in the Hall County Jail without bond, but Mull tells me she has requested a bond hearing for the couple. She also tells me next week another hearing will take place where a relative of the couple is seeking custody at this time of their 2 other children.